Knowledge is power. Make an impact by learning more, or hire us to do it for you. Let us focus on what we do best so you can stay focused on what you do best. Find all of our options under services, one-to-one training, subscription-based training, or accounting and business consulting. Stars and pins. Kind of like stars and stripes, but not. All kidding aside, Slack is a great tool for keeping things organized. And it has lots of features that you have to play around with Slack in order to understand where they are, where to go to look for them. In order to keep things clean, the options are, in some manner of speaking, tucked away, right? So, for example, when I highlight my mouse over a message in Slack, you'll see there are several, there's a menu item that appears. And if you move your mouse over each one, you can start to get a sense of what's what. And over here, you'll see where you can actually star a message. And I thought there used to be a way to do it right next to the message itself, but maybe not, I guess. And they change things around from time to time, too. And if you click on this little three-dotted icon, as you can see from the pop-up tip, there are more actions still. And that's where you'll find pins. So you can star things and you can pin things. So let's focus on stars first. And just a quick overview. A star, think of a star as a to-do. Right, a star is a way of marking something. It's just for you. It's so you can follow up, so you can get a list of all the things you've started, so you can follow up and make sure they get done. So think of a star as a to-do item, and a pin is more of a bookmark in a specific channel for those who are in that channel. And so let's go through this. If I go up here to, say, accounts receivable in my sample, and let's say I want to follow up on this AR report, then I might star it, right? And then let's go over to the banking channel, and there's this transaction that I've indicated that I need clarification on. So I'm going to star that one too. And let's see what we have here in budgets. And here's an email that's been forwarded in for budgets. So let's star that one too. Okay, so now I've got a few different things starred in a few different channels. So where do you go to see the things that you've starred? Right up here, top right of your screen. Click on the star, and now it's going to give you the list of starred items. And only I see this. Other members of the workspace here will not see this. They can't necessarily tell what I've starred or what I haven't. So if I go here, if you notice when I move my mouse over this message, it's referring to the most recent thing I've starred. So as you can see, it lists them in reverse chronological order. So the most recent thing I've starred is on the top. And you can see it's got this very email that I had forwarded into this channel, which I've now unfurled, right? So if I want to go over here to this thing that it looks like I may have started a while back, there's a few ways to do this. You can click the jump button, but notice when I move my mouse over the time and date stamp, it's linked. So I can actually click on that, and that takes me also right over to the message jump. We'll do the exact same thing, right? So I can click jump, or I can click on the timestamp, and that will take me. And notice it highlights anything that I've started. In this case, I have two things starred in the same channel, so they're both highlighted in that faint yellow, almost like a sticky note, right? So if I'm done with this one, I can simply unstar it. And notice as I jump from one thing to another, if I now want to jump over to this one because I want to take care of this, notice this list of starred items stays resident right here until I exit out, right? And then I can click the star again to bring it back. And that way I can work through these items, my little to-do list in Slack, until everything is done. So that's really how starred items works. Not much more I can tell you about that. So what about a pin? Let's talk about what pins look like. So let's go back to accounts receivable, and let's say that I want to make sure that everybody in this channel is able to quickly access one of these accounts receivable reports. What I may want to do is click here and click on where it says pin to accounts receivable. And it just confirms that I'm sure, and I say yes, and I can close my starred items. And notice now it says pin by you, but everybody else in this channel can see this. Right? And so that is because keep in mind, this conversation about accounts receivable might continue, and these things will get buried further and further back in the feed. Now, Slack has great search, so that's another way to find something in case it wasn't pinned or starred. But nonetheless, if you want to pin something because you want to make sure you can access it quickly and easily, and for that matter, you want to make sure that others in the channel can access it quickly and easily, then that's what pins are for. So where do you go to access your pinned items? If you go into the settings icon, and information, sorry, I always do that. Go to the information icon, and here it indicates one pinned item. Now notice, unlike stars, pins are specific to the channel that you're in. So in this case, we're in accounts receivable, so it's only going to show me what's pinned in accounts receivable. If I go over to banking, notice it says no pinned items, but if I unstar this and then I pin it, and you could certainly have something both starred and pinned, but you'll see that then this will now show up under the pinned items. So pinned items can be accessed through the information icon in the channel. Starred items have its own sort of global feed right up here. And those are the kind of key differences between stars and pins. Stars are for you and you alone, and they're like a to-do list. Pins are for everybody in the channel, but they're channel specific. So there's no place to go to see all the things you've pinned everywhere. So you have to go channel by channel. And by the way, quick bonus tip. If you want a quick way to browse channels, I'm going to click here on this first channel called Status Updates, and Alt and the down arrow will quickly toggle channels. Up arrow, of course, goes back up. So the Alt key and the up and down arrow are a quick way using the keyboard to move through the channels if you're looking for something quickly. Ultimately, if you're looking for something that may be buried far back in the timeline, you're going to want to use the search, and that's going to be covered in another video on another day. As always, I hope you learned something here, had some fun along the way. I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day, and I look forward to seeing you on the web.